Hi guys. All right, so we're almost done with our meal prepping. I like to utilize my time well, so I'll get going with my brown rice first. I use a rice cooker because when I tried doing them on the stove top, it's not as fluffy. I switched to a short grain brown rice recently because I can get it in bulk at Costco, just to be honest with you. Brown rice can be kind of pricey. I actually find that I like the taste of this one a lot better. So I'm going to prep 2 cups because it's not going to be just for me and Mark. It'll be for the kids too, one night a week, one of the nights this week. So I have 2 cups of brown rice. And I'm going to add just over the 4 cups. So it's a 2 to 1 ratio, but then you want a little extra because the brown rice is so hearty. It's going to absorb up all that water. If you don't have enough water, it gets really crunchy and not fluffy. And then I also like to add a pinch of salt. So I have that in there. I'm going to get this going. It'll take... You don't have to worry about burning it. The rice cooker does all the work for you. I'm also going to be making 2 cups of breakfast quinoa. That's a good substitute instead of oats. You make them both the same way. So I'm going to get 4 cups of water for that. I will alternate between oats and quinoa for breakfast, which is great. Really like the way the quinoa tastes. And it's really simple. So you take quinoa, again, you can buy it in bulk at Costco, Sam's Club. I'm going to take 2 cups of it. And I will store this in like one big Tupperware container. And it'll stay good for the whole week. So we have our 2 cups of oats. I'm going to start the stove on high. So it's just like making rice stovetop. You're going to put the 4 cups of water. And this also calls for a pinch of salt. While this comes to a boil, I'm also going to put in 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And I'm also going to put in some cinnamon. As this comes to a boil and then I simmer it down, I'm going to add in a 1/4 cup to a 1/2 cup of almond milk. All right, so I got lots of cinnamon in there. I'm going to give it a stir so that you can see the cinnamon kind of floats on top unless you stir it. So just give it a good stir. Get the vanilla mixed in. Some of the quinoa will float on the top if you don't stir it, and then it won't cook evenly. Then I'm going to just let this hang out until it boils. Once it boils, I'm going to let it boil for about 5 minutes, and then I'm going to simmer it, turn it to a simmer, and cover it. And wait for the liquid to get absorbed. Once the liquid's absorbed, we're going to add, like I said, a 1/4 cup to a 1/2 cup of almond milk. Make sure you're reading the labels on your almond milk and you're getting the one that has no sugar, no added sugar, because you don't need those extra added calories. So while this hangs out here, we're going to do a couple more veggies. So we've got baby squash here. We normally do Brussels sprouts, but we've done them for the last 4 or 5 weeks, and they didn't have them in our store. So we are doing a swap, Brussels sprouts for baby squash. I like to cut off these little ends here because they're kind of hard, and then I'm going to throw them in my roasting pan. These are going to go in the oven for about 20 minutes until they're cooked. You'll see they'll turn color. You don't want them mushy. You want to just be able to put a fork through them so that when you reheat them, they're not like disgusting. They still have a little bit of a bite to them. The oven will be set at 375. And we're going to pair this with our mahi-mahi that are already in containers. 4 ounces of mahi-mahi. And I like to try to season it the same way that I did whatever protein I'm pairing my vegetables with, so that you don't have like some sweet stuff, some spicy stuff. Try to do the same seasonings. So the mahi mahi has a lemon pepper on it, so that's what I'm going to put on these guys. And we have our, that one's not a good one. We already added, I don't know, Mark, if you want to show them, we added a handful or a cup of spinach to our chicken in those containers. And hopefully while we're prepping this, our sweet potatoes will come out. And we're going to just add the sweet potatoes right to them, and then that meal will be ready to go. All of our proteins are in 4-ounce quantities. So that'll be easy to remember, about a palm full. Good one. This is a good way to just check your veggies as you're going through. This guy's got a hole in it too. Just taking off the ends. And we have our sweet potatoes in the oven, so these guys aren't going to be able to go in right away. But I'm going to get them at least ready, and then I'm going to show you how we do our asparagus. The asparagus will also be done on the stove. We're going to steam it, so that it keeps all of its vitamins, its nutrients. I'm going to drizzle some olive oil, not a whole lot, just enough to coat these guys so that they roast. And I'm going to grab the lemon pepper so that we use the same seasoning. You can use as little or as much seasoning as you want. If you're using something with salt, stay on the less side, please, because you don't want that added sodium. And I'm also going to use some garlic powder. And I'm just going to toss these guys around so that they're coated with the oil. That way they don't burn and they roast. All right, so that's what they look like. They're nice and glossy. They're ready to go in the oven, but the oven's full. So we will come back in just a minute